Chapter 10 is about the Chardonnay grape. Chardonnay is a white grape variety that is prized to produce outstanding quality wines in cool, moderate, and warm temperatures. It produces wines that are dry, and they can be anywhere from high volume brands to premium quality wines. And they're even used to make sparkling wines. There's also a range of winemaking techniques that the winemaker has all these options to adjust their Chardonnay. We'll talk a little bit about that. And because they're cool, moderate, and warm climates, you're going to get a lot of different flavors in Chardonnays. If it's coming from a cool climate, you're going to get high acidity, light to medium bodied, and the green fruits, the citrus fruits, and wet stone. If you're in a moderate climate, you're going to have medium to high acidity, so potentially a little bit less acidity from the cool climates. You're going to have medium to full bodied, so a little bit fuller bodied in a moderated temperature than the cooler climates. And you're going to get the citrus and stone fruit flavors. And then as you move to more warm climates, you're going to get Chardonnays with even less acidity, medium acidity, and fuller bodied. And those aromas and flavors are things like tropical fruits, pineapple, banana, and some of the more moderate flavors from moderate temperatures like stone fruit and peach you can get on a warm climate. Okay, so let's talk about some of the winemaking options. So let's say you're in a warm climate and you only have medium acidity on your Chardonnay. One winemaker option is to do what's called acidification. And that's where you're going to add acid to your wines to give it a boost in acid. You've also got winemakers, the book talked about Chardonnay kind of having this stigma that there's a lot of Chardonnays that are too oaky. And some of them might even have too much acid. So then you might want to use malolactic conversion. This is going to soften those harsh acids, and it's going to kind of smooth the flavors out to a buttery, creamy flavor from when you perform malolactic conversion. Winemakers could also, let's say you're in a cool climate, they might want to add body because they might get a light bodied Chardonnay and they might desire to have a fuller bodied Chardonnay. So they might leave that Chardonnay on the lees, and that's going to give it more body and add flavors of bread and biscuit. And last, you can also get more body by oaking your wines and adding smoke flavors. Winemakers are very careful not to over oak their Chardonnays because Chardonnays have gotten a bad rep for being too much oaked. So some winemakers avoid these options altogether. Only wines that have sufficient flavor intensity will benefit from any of these four options. All right, so now we're going to learn about important regions for Chardonnay. It really helps to look at the map. So I have the map here, and we've really got Chardonnay all over the place because it grows in warm, moderate, and cool climates. But where we're going to start is in France, and we're going to start in Burgundy. Okay, so Burgundy is this area called Chablis. It's also your Côte de Nuit and Côte d'Or area. And it's also, I believe it might include Mâconnais as well. This is Mâconnais here, and this is Côte d'Or is the bottom part of this section with Côte de Nuit on top and Côte de Beaune on the bottom. Sorry, Côte d'Or is the whole thing. Côte de Nuit on top, Côte d'Or is on the bottom. And then Mâconnais. So first, let's talk about Chablis. So Chablis is, you can see in France, the highest, most northern area in France that grows Chablis. This little area here. The best Chardonnays are going to be your Premier Cru and Grand Cru Chardonnays. And we start talking about that one. This one is actually, they are known in Chablis for not oaking their wines. So Chablis is kind of trying to recover the stigma of Chardonnays being too oaked, and they are not oaking their wine there. It's a cool climate up there, close to the 30th degree latitude in the northern hemisphere. So those are going to make your kind of cooler climate flavors like the green fruits and the citrus fruits. Okay, next we'll move on to Côte d'Or. So we're going a little bit more south in Burgundy, and we're in Côte d'Or. Côte d'Or. This is a little bit more moderate temperatures than Chablis. And we are going to be oaking some of our Chardonnays there. So we're going to focus south of the town of Beaune, known as Côte de Beaune. So that's this orange section here at the bottom. And there's specifically two really great spots, these two little villages. One is called Mersalt, and one is called Pouligny-Montrachet. Some of the best Chardonnays in the world come from Mersalt and Pouligny-Montrachet. You're getting flavors of hazelnut and mushroom on those Chardonnays coming from Mersalt and Pouligny-Montrachet. Outstanding quality Chardonnays. And we are oaking those a little bit. Okay, now we go even further south, and we are now in Mâconnais. This is a sub-region of South Burgundy. So Burgundy, remember, is Chablis, Côte d'Or, and Mâconnais. So this little orange part here. Okay, we're gonna have unoaked Chardonnays from Mâconnais that are fruity. So it's another spot, but again, it's a little bit more moderate than Chablis. Chablis and Mâconnais are making unoaked Chardonnays. And the steep slopes on the villages of Pouilly-Fuissé, those are going to have wines that are higher concentrated stone fruits and tropical fruit flavors. So our Pouilly-Fuissé is going to have more sunshine longer all day, and it's going to create more tropical fruit flavors. They are also matured in oak and to add body and flavor complexities in Pouilly-Fuissé. Okay, then we go really far south, and the color turns red because it gets closer to the equator. So we have cooler, moderate in the middle, and then down south we've got the red color, where Chardonnay is grown in south of France. South of France, it's close to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the Mediterranean Sea. And south of France is down here. So you do have influences from the Mediterranean Sea. So you're gonna get ripe, fruity Chardonnays with flavors of peach and banana and pineapple. Most of these are labeled IGP. And they're very good, outstanding quality wines, can have barrel fermentation. Okay, so that's it for France. We have Chablis, the cooler climate. Best of Chardonnays and Chablis are from Premier Cru and Grand Cru. They worry about frost that far north. They do not oak it, and they are trying to change the game with Chardonnays. Then we have Côte d'Or and specifically Côte de Beaune. We have more moderated climates where we're oaking. And in Côte d'Or, we have those best in the world, Meursault and Pugli Montriquet villages. Going further south, Mâconnais, where we have the steep slopes on Puy-Foussay. And we're oaking those Chardonnays, very fantastic Chardonnays, and go even further south to the warm climate south of France, where we have some wonderful Chardonnays, and they're called the IGP Chardonnays. All right, now let's move to California. California Chardonnay is widely planted inland in the central areas, and they use irrigation and high yield to give it enough water. And you're getting tropical fruits on these Chardonnays in California. So they're really all over. And then there's a specific subregions in California where we have more moderated temperatures. So in Sonoma, we have the Pacific breeze. In Los Carneros, we have the Pacific breeze as well, and fog that sits at the bottom basin of where Los Carneros is. And then in Napa, that's more inland. And as you go north in Napa, it gets warmer and warmer because you have less influences from these fog and the less influences from the breeze of the coast. So it gets warmer and warmer. Some outstanding Napa Chardonnays are oaked in new oaks, and you're getting vanilla and spice on those. And then lastly, we have more moderate Chardonnays from Santa Barbara County. This is moderated from the Pacific breezes, both coming from the west and coming from the south north. Okay, so that's it for California. You also have some Chardonnays farther north in the state of Oregon, and it's generally a moderate climate up there. I don't have the state map, but we're getting some Chardonnays in Oregon with a broad range of flavors from citrus to tropical notes. So the moderate Chardonnays. Okay, let's hop on over to Australia. Australia, there are high volume Australias in southeastern Australia. Southeastern Australia is this whole bit here. So that's what's on this map here, is southeastern Australia. So they have a broad range of area, and it's a little bit warmer climate unless you have moderating influences. So also in southeastern Australia, Chardonnay is sometimes blended with Semillon. Okay, so what are our other areas besides we've got mostly warm climate Chardonnays, what specific areas are not so warm? We have the region of Adelaide Hills here, and those are influenced by, they're cooled by the altitude. And Yarra Valley over here is cooled by the cool breeze coming through from the south here. We also have all of Victoria here is all being moderated near the coast with these cool breezes. So in Yarra Valley, you're gonna have some peach tropical Chardonnays, and you're also gonna have the peach tropical Chardonnays in Adelaide Hills. Okay, and then there's some Chardonnay made all the way over here in the tip of Eastern Australia, and that's called the Margaret River. These are considered high quality Chardonnays in Australia, and they have cooling influences from the sea here, the Indian Ocean. Okay. Next, we'll look at New Zealand. So here's our New Zealand. Remember, New Zealand stretches north and south, so we've got some warmer climate New Zealand areas, moderate, and even cool climate. So Chardonnay, the Marlborough region, right there in the center, it's got kind of cool climate and moderate climate Chardonnays. It's also influenced by Pacific Ocean breezes. And you're getting ripe lemon, peach, and melon characteristics in the Marlborough Chardonnays. Hawke's Bay is located further north. So this is on the east coast of the North Island, and the climate's more moderate, and it's the most widely planted grape here, and they're going to be full-bodied Chardonnay with stone fruits coming from Hawke's Bay. All right, and then lastly, oh no, there's two more countries. We're gonna go to Chile. Chile has the coastal breezes affecting Casablanca, and so this elongates the growing season in Casablanca, and it also has fog here that helps with that. So you're getting in Casablanca Chardonnays with the citrus and stone fruits and peach flavors. The cooling influences allow for those citrus flavors in your Chardonnays from Casablanca. And then you have Central Valley. Now this is confusing in your book because looks like on the map they're saying Central Valley is this here. But really, Central Valley is this whole area going all the way from Maipo Valley all the way down to this part, which is called, don't know how to pronounce it, but Mule Valley. Central Valley is sandwiched between the coast and the Andes Mountains. It's exposed to sea breezes. Oh, no, sorry. So the Central Valley, Casablanca is exposed to the sea breezes. Central Valley has a wide range of varieties and qualities, from inexpensive high volume brands to outstanding quality wines that are moderated by the altitudes. Okay, and lastly, we have South Africa. So every single major grape growing region grows Chardonnay, including South Africa. And in South Africa, the Western Cape, here we are in South Africa, the Western Cape is growing a lot of Chardonnay that they sometimes blend with Chenin Blanc. C squared, Chenin Blanc blended with Chardonnay in the Western Cape region of South Africa. And then down Even further south, Walker Bay grows Chardonnay, and it has moderate temperatures down there, even though it's all of South Africa is close to the 30-degree. But because of those southern breezes coming up from the Arctic, you've got more moderate temperatures in Walker Bay. And the Chardonnays there are gonna have high acidity, ripe stone fruit, peach, tropical, pineapple, and oak flavors. Okay, so that's really it for Chardonnay. Again, Chablis has been changing, Chablis in France, changing the population of Chardonnay by not oaking it. And Chardonnay is one of those grapes that expresses the climate of where it's grown, because it's grown all over in cool and warm climates.